Okay, so we're on page 87, the top of 87, and this is the middle of chapter 9. We stopped with the big policeman shoving his way out from behind a bush, shouting, "Police, freeze." "Get the dog off me! Ellie, it's okay. Down. Ellie, down," the other policeman commanded. I let go of the man's arm, and he fell to his knees. His eyes met mine. I could feel his pain, but also his cunning. That means like trickery. Cunning means like trickery. He was happy in some odd, twisted way, even though he was on the ground with his arm bleeding. I didn't trust him, and I growled, warning him. He thought he was going to get away with something. "Ellie, come," the policeman ordered. I had always obeyed "come" ever since Jacob had taught me the words, with treats in his pocket. I backed up, my eyes never leaving the bleeding man. "Dog ripped off my arm," the man shouted. He waved at something behind and to the left of the policeman. "I'm over here," he called out. When the policeman turned quickly to see what was behind him, the man lunged, scooping up his gun and leaping to his feet. I barked, quickly, loudly, and my body tensed to spring. The man I'd found fired his gun, and the noise made my ears hurt. But the big policeman was already turning. His gun made its own noise twice, and the other man fell to the ground, just as Jacob had done. "Cannot believe I fell for that one," the big policeman muttered, pointing his gun at the man while he lay on the ground. The policeman took a few cautious steps forward and kicked the other gun away into a patch of grass. "Ellie, you okay?" Jacob asked faintly. "She's okay, Jacob. Where you hit?" "Gut." I'd already left the man I'd found. He wasn't a threat anymore, I could tell. And Jacob needed me. So let's just back up for a minute. So the policeman said, "She's okay, Jacob. Where you hit?" And Jacob answered, "Gut." Gut is another word for stomach or abdomen. So it seems like he's been hit in his abdomen or stomach area, the gut area. Okay. I'd already left the man I'd found. He wasn't a threat anymore, I could tell, and Jacob needed me. I ran to his side but lay down a foot or so away. Then I crawled forward carefully so I could nudge at his hand with my nose. I sensed I had to be very careful not to touch him too much. Jacob's hand didn't lift to scratch my ears the way it always had. I licked it and whined. I could feel the pain deep inside him, I feel it working its way through his body. The smell of the blood was powerful. I could hardly smell anything else. "Officer down, suspect down, we're..." The policeman looked up at the sky. "We're under some trees down the canyon, need medevac for the officer." "Who is the officer?" came the voice from his walkie-talkie. 8 Kilo 6. "We need some help down here now." I didn't know what to do. Jacob had been afraid before, but now he seemed calm. I wasn't, though. I was panting and trembling with fear. I'd done my job. I'd found the girl, and she was safe. I'd found the man. That was right, wasn't it? That was what I was supposed to do. But the man had hurt Jacob. That wasn't what should happen. Finding people was supposed to mean saving them. Now Jacob was the one who needed saving. I didn't know how, though. I was here, right beside him, but that wasn't enough. It wasn't what he needed. The big policeman knelt next to Jacob. "They're on their way, bro. You just got to hang on now." So when he says they're on the way, bro is short for brother, and policemen refer to each other as like brothers. I felt the worry in his voice. Gingerly, he opened up Jacob's shirt to get a look inside. The shock of fear that went through him made me whimper. Soon I could hear crashing and stumbling as several people ran toward us. They knelt by Jacob, pushing me aside, and began working on him. I smelled sharp chemicals, and I saw them pressing cloths where there was the most blood. "How's Emily?" Jacob asked them faintly. Who? "The little girl," the big policeman explained. "She's fine, Jacob. You found her. You saved her. Everything's okay." More people arrived, and they lifted Jacob onto a strange, flat bed and started to carry him up the canyon. I ran right beside him. Ahead of us, I heard the familiar sound of a helicopter motor stirring to life. The policeman who'd been with us held onto my collar as the people put Jacob on the helicopter. The blades started spinning faster and faster, whipping dust and leaves through the air, and the helicopter rose slowly into the sky. I wrenched myself free from the policeman's hand and ran after the helicopter, barking. It rose up, and I circled beneath it, dancing on my hind legs, on his back legs, on her back legs, barking in frustration. I was a chopper dog. Why hadn't they let me get on? I needed to go with Jacob. But the helicopter didn't come back. After a while, Amy came to get me. She talked to the big policeman for a while and then clipped a leash on my collar and took me for a truck ride. The cage I was riding in was filled with Cammie's scent. Amy took me back to the kennel at the police station, calling Cammie to her as I went in. Gypsy was nowhere to be seen. Amy put the leash on Cammie and scratched behind my ears before she shut the door, leaving me in the kennel alone. Someone will check on you and will figure out where you're going to live, Ellie. You be a good dog. You are a good dog, Amy said. So that is the end of chapter 9. So how do you think Ellie is feeling right now with Jacob being taken off in the helicopter? Okay.